Prince Edward, Duke of York and Albany, KGPCFRS, was the younger brother of George III of the United Kingdom and the second son of Frederick, Prince of Wales, and Princess Augusta of Saxe-Gotha. Early life. The young prince was baptized Edward Augustus, at Norfolk House, by the Bishop of Oxford, Thomas Secker, and his godparents were his great-uncle the King in Prussia, the Duke of Brunswick-Wolfenbüttel, and his maternal aunt the Duchess of Saxe-Weissenfels. As a boy, Prince Edward, with his brother, went through long hours of schooling in arithmetic, Latin, geometry, writing, religion, French, German, Greek and even dancing to be well-rounded. For the future George III, the young Prince Edward was his only constant companion, but it was Edward who was the mother's favourite. As he grew up, quite unlike his simple and solitary brother, Prince Edward became a very popular figure in London society. Those who knew Prince Edward described him as silly, frivolous, rather a chatterbox, someone who loved a good practical joke and who did not keep the most upright company. 7 Years' War. Prince Edward showed an interest in naval affairs and sought permission to serve with the Royal Navy. He participated in the naval descents against the French coast, taking part in the failed raid on St. Malo, which ended in the Battle of St. Cast in 1758. He was made captain on 14 June 1759, Rear Admiral of the Blue in 1761 and Vice Admiral of the Blue in 1762. Later life. He was created Duke of York and Albany and Earl of Ulster by his paternal grandfather George II on 1 April 1760. When Edward's brother ascended the throne on 25 October 1760 as George III, he named Edward a Privy Councillor. From the time his brother became king and until the birth of the king's first child, the future George IV, on 12 August 1762, the Duke was heir presumptive to the British throne. On 27 July 1765, he was initiated into the Masonic Order. In the late summer of 1767, on his way to Genoa, the Duke fell ill and had to be landed in the harbour of Monaco. Despite the care and attention he was given, he died in the Palace of Honoré III, Prince of Monaco, on 17 September. The state bedchamber where the ill Duke died has since been known as the York Room. After his death, his body was returned to London aboard HMS Montreal, and is interred in Westminster Abbey. Legacy. Literature. In 1762, James Boswell published The Cub at Newmarket, a poem which he dedicated to Prince Edward, without getting his permission. Boswell met the prince at the Newmarket races in 1760 during his first visit to London. The cub referenced in the work is Boswell himself. The dedication reads, "To His Royal Highness, Edward Duke of York. Sir, permit me to take this method of thanking your Royal Highness for condescending to like the following sketch, or, in other words, permit me to let the world know that this same cub has been laughed at by the Duke of York, has been read to your Royal Highness by the genius himself, and warmed by the immediate beams of your kind indulgence. Had I been able to conceal this, I should have imagined that I had not the least spark of the enthusiasm of Parnassus in my composition, to be so deficient in vanity, which, if I am not mistaken, may be reckoned an inseparable characteristic of a poet. This trifle, sir, would not presume to interrupt you when engaged in matters of consequence. It only begs leave to pay its respects in an hour devoted to cheerful festivity. I wish your Royal Highness a long, a merry, and a happy life, and am, your obliged devoted servant." Prince Edward is an important character in Nora Loft's historical novel The Lost Queen, chronicling the life of his youngest sister, Caroline Matilda, Queen Consort of Denmark and Norway as wife of King Christian VII. Edward is mentioned as having had a special link with her, stronger than with his other siblings. The book also depicts Edward as having planned short shortly before his death to elope with a commoner woman with whom he was in love, marry her in Russia and never go back to Britain, which is not firmly attested in historical sources. Places and people named after Prince Edward County, Virginia. Cape York. The tip of the Cape York Peninsula in far north Queensland is the northernmost point on the Australian continent. The Duke of York Islands in East New Britain Province, Papua New Guinea. They are found in St. George's Channel between New Britain and New Ireland Islands and form part of the Bismarck Archipelago. Duke of York Island, the largest island of Duke of York Islands, Papua New Guinea. Prince Edward Augustus, fourth son of King George III, who was born the day after the Duke was buried at Westminster Abbey. Fort Edward, a town in New York located on the eastern side of the Hudson River, which was formerly the site of a large British fort during the 7 Years' War. Titles, styles, honor and arms. Titles and styles. The 25th of March 1739 to 1 April 1760, His Royal Highness Prince Edward. The 1st of April 1760 to 17 September 1767, His Royal Highness the Duke of York and Albany. Honours 1752, Knight of the Garter 1760, Privy Councillor 1760, Royal Fellow of the Royal Society. Arms. Edward was granted use of the arms of the kingdom, differenced by a label argent of 5 points, the centre bearing a cross gules, the other points each bearing a canton gules. Ancestors.